Welcome back to the WHHI News. Joining me now is 14th Circuit Solicitor Duffie Stone, who's here to talk about the possibility of an anti-gang law in South Carolina. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, do we have an anti-gang law in the books?
No. In fact, North Carolina has a statute like this. Georgia has a statute like this. In fact, 33 states have what are called RICO Acts or state RICO Act statutes. The purpose behind these statutes is to give prosecutors and police the tools to go after organized crime. And what we see on a number of different levels, we see state, we see gang activity, shootings with groups of people back and forth. We see human trafficking organizations.
So that would apply. Human trafficking would apply. Sex trafficking under the anti-gang law.
If you're dealing with multiple people, and I will tell you that regularly, just this last year, I've both tried as well as worked with law enforcement on multiple people made up of groups that are shooting at other groups, and 4 out of my 5 counties, that has been taking place at least in the last year.
How would this bill help you? What do you want it to do?
What it does, and this was passed by the federal government in 1970. This is something the federal government's been using for years, and they developed it to go after the mobs like Gotti and those type of things, which they've been very effective doing it. What this allows you to do, though, is to prosecute the organization. Go after instead of just going after piecemeal individual crimes committed by individual members, it allows you to take down the entire organization.
So say one member of that group or organization is arrested, say if it's sex trafficking or whatever, you can go after more than that one individual?
Yeah, and if you do, the traditional prosecution approach is going after the single individual. The problem is when it comes to any organized crime, whether it's human trafficking, shootings, gang shootings, regardless, by the time you take that one person off the street and you get them into bond court, they are replaced by somebody else by the time you just get them into the first court appearance. So the concept, again, is I think there are a number of shootings, and in every one of our shootings that we have seen, these people, they're groups of people. Most of them are retaliatory shootings. People are shooting back at somebody because this group offended this other particular group. They are using assault rifles.
That's so scary.
And it's not 1 or 2 shots, Allie. These are usually scenes that there are 40 and 50 shell cases at the scene. And in almost every one of those situations, innocent people have been shot. We've had a police officer shot. We've had 2 teenagers killed. And this, again, 4 out of my 5 counties. So this is a problem, and it's not unique to the 14th Circuit. This is a statewide issue.
Give us the 5 counties you're responsible for again for people that might not know.
Beaufort, Hampton, Allendale, Jasper, and Colleton.
Okay. So you are seeing this kind of activity going on. This kind of law, you said, all right, so say you have a gang shooting and you arrest one person in connection with that gang shooting. With this law, what would that allow you to do then? Number 1,
let's tie in all the gang activity. Let the jury know that this is gang activity and not just a single shooting. There's a lot of legal issues with having to try a case like this, but what you want to be able to do is show the entire story to the jury. This is an entire gang operation. These are the members of the gang. These are the acts that they are committing. And a gang statute will allow you to do that.
Okay, so that's a plus. What about as far as penalties go? Would it increase any of the penalties that we don't have on the books right now?
Right now, the way it's written now, and this all could change once it gets into the General Assembly, but it adds a 20-year penalty on various gang activities. Currently, the only penalties we have in South Carolina, and again, you've got a gang statute in Georgia that is much different and much better.
Okay.
You have a gang statute in North Carolina that is much better. South Carolina, the only penalty is a 5-year penalty for either enticing somebody to get into a gang or trying to keep them from leaving it. And I don't know, and I have talked to solicitors around the state, I don't know that anyone's ever used that statute.
Wow. Well, Duffie Stone, 14th Circuit Solicitor, we're already out of time. But where is this now? Has the Senate looked at a bill?
It's summer, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time this summer educating both the General Assembly as well as the general public on the need for this. And I think that's what hopefully we'll be in a position at the General Assembly next year to get something passed.
Great. Duffie Stone, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we will be back in just a moment.